Welcome to the web conference today. I'm Russ. As I mentioned earlier, I'm on the steering committee of the North American Men Engaged Network. We are a member of the Global Men Engaged Alliance, and this is our second of a series of four webinars that we're having on about men's response to the Me Too movement and how that has impacted on our local work and our local efforts. You can find more about NAMEN at our website, which is www.namen.menengage.org. You can also go onto the Men Engage website and learn more about NAMEN. So a bit about us. These are a series of what we call community practice webinars, and the idea of a community of practice is to gather a community of folks who are practicing in different areas around engaging and mobilizing men and boys. So with this particular series, we are hoping to learn from you all as much as we share. So today we have two presenters who are going to be talking about some of the theories related to engaging men and boys. In particular, some of the theories that they heard emerge from our conversation a couple of weeks ago. And then they'll each have about 15 or 20 minutes to talk, and then we'll open it up for dialogue with you all. Now, that does not mean you cannot engage in dialogue during their presentations. We encourage you to do so, which you can do either by waving your hand or by using the chat, and Craig will be monitoring that to involve those, to engage those conversations. The Global Men Engage Alliance is an international alliance of NGOs, non-government organizations, and some individuals working together with men and boys to promote gender equality. The Global Men Engage Alliance has been around for about 10 or 12 years, I believe. NAMEN has been around for 5 or 6. Today we have 17 people registered for our conference. Again, please remember to use the chat. That is an active throughout the webinar, and it's a great way for us to connect, and you all to connect with each other as well as ask whatever questions you are. At the last webinar, we had several side conversations going on, and I know there were some connections that were made as a result of that. As a reminder, if you are on the telephone, you are automatically muted. If you want to make a comment or join the conversation, please hit *6. That will unmute you, and you can ask whatever questions or make whatever comments you want. This session is being recorded, and it will be posted on the NAMEN website. The first session, as I hope most of you know, was put on the website. Craig was able to get that up a day or two after the last webinar. These will stay on our website, and you can use those and share those as you may want to. So in basic ground rules for our discussion, please mute your line as a general rule. As you participate, please say your name and where you're from. We practice the step up, step back idea, which is if you have participated fairly actively, we ask you to step back and allow other voices to participate. If you find that you've been stepping back, we invite you to take a moment and step up to participate in the conversation. The idea of this is as much to share information, is as much to build community as it is share information. All questions are good questions. We encourage that conversation, and use the chat feature freely. Here's the light-up of the series. 2 weeks ago, we had the conversation around community-based experiences. Today will be the conversation about theories. A couple of weeks from now, we'll be having the conversation about immediate applications and what we do next. And then about a month after that, we will come back and talk about some reflections and lesson learned, and encourage the development of an ongoing community of practice that we as NAMEN will facilitate, encouraging the ongoing sharing and development of resources, support about what folks are doing on the ground, and figuring out how we can connect what folks may be doing on the ground in terms of some regional or broader next steps. The objectives of our series are 4 main ones: to address the issues brought up for men by the Me Too movement, share concepts and concrete examples that can be used in response. What can we learn from each other about how to use the Me Too movement to mobilize men's involvement and men's engagement? Focus on strategies that take these efforts to the next levels. And then as I've been mentioned several times, participating in an ongoing community of practice to continue sharing resources, creating new networks, and building on what we've learned. So again, today's topic is looking at the theories of change that drive our work. What are the strategies that make sense? What are the theories that drive our strategies? And what are the current and most critical theories related to engaging men and boys? We have a couple of presenters, both of whom have a lot to share on this regard. We're not going to go around with introductions today. For the sake of time, we did that last time. This week, as you begin the conversation, as you join the conversation, please introduce yourself and say briefly where you're from as you have a comment or a question, and use the chat freely. All right, so with that, I want to introduce our panelists. They are Magali Marquez, who is a consultant based in Los Angeles. She's going to be talking first about social norms theory. Following her will be Alan Heisterkamp, who is director of the Center for Violence Prevention at the University of Northern Iowa. He's been doing this work for a very long time, and he'll be talking about both cognitive behavioral theory and motivational theory. And then Craig Norberg-Bohm, who you've met both sessions, will be, and as a consultant based in Boston, he will be talking about the readiness to engage. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to, with that, I'm going to turn it on to Magali and let you